Hi everybody, back again with another figure video. This is another kit bash one of mine. It's a very lengthy work in progress project that I've been doing, and I've actually been doing these figures for about 18 months, maybe 2 years, maybe even longer. Long-term watchers of my channel will probably have stumbled across a couple of videos that I've done on these in the past. I just keep improving on them all the time as I go along, just little bits here and there. These are my monster hunters. I used to have about 6 or 7 of them, but I've now whittled it down to about 2 or 3. You will see some more videos probably later on of some more monster hunters that I'm doing, but what I've changed since the last video on these two is I've changed the head sculpts. I've taken a weapon or two off because there was just too many on them, they were too cluttered. And the major difference is the body underneath. I've changed that. So the body underneath is a Thyssen body. It's the stainless steel mid-bust tanned version. Both of them are exactly the same. It's not tan though. I don't know if a lot of people have had the same problem if they've bought Thyssen bodies. Of the newer versions, they order the tan and it seems to be very pale. The older versions of Thyssen bodies, without the stainless steel skeleton underneath, the skin tone on those was a lot better. But the newer versions, it doesn't seem to be that way, especially for me anyway. I don't know if they're sending me the wrong ones or not, but every time I order a tan version, a pale skin version comes through. So I might do it the other way around next time and order a pale skin one, and maybe I'll get a tan version. But anyway, if you haven't seen my videos on these in the past, I'll just give you a quick recap. The clothing is actually from the Jade Van Helsing figure that was released quite a while ago now by Triad Toys. I believe it was Triad Toys. They didn't have a seamless body underneath. It was a pretty good body though, but you could see a couple of little joints in it and I didn't like it, so I opted for the Thyssen bodies now. The head sculpts on this one, we have it's a custom Scarlett Johansson head sculpt, obviously with long blonde hair. The hair is a bit messy, but I will try and rectify that at some point. And on this one we have Scarlett Johansson again. It's the Hot Toys version of the Winter Soldier Black Widow. Just get it back in focus if I can. There we go. As I say, I've changed, taken off a couple of little weapons, but I'll talk about that when I show you the figures individually. So I'll put a little pause in here, and when we come back we'll start with this one here. Okay, here we have the first one. The one thing I do need to change with this one, or update a little bit more, is the neck joint. It doesn't go far enough on the connector on the Thyssen body connector. So as you can see, it's sticking up in the air a bit and there's quite a bit of a gap, so I've got to file out the inside of that head a bit more so it sits down. So that's got to be done. To say, this is the stainless steel Thyssen mid-bust tanned stroke pale body underneath. It's a bit of a pain to get this clothing on. It took me a while. I was really worried about possibly breaking these little straps, but I managed to get there. A little trick is to put talcum powder on, but it does get a bit messy, but I just persevered and managed to stretch it up. The only real problem I found with the Thyssen body and the boots on this is the hole socket in the boot is quite small, but the connector on the Thyssen leg is rather large, so it doesn't sit in there, so I've just had to push it onto the foot. So if I was to lift this figure off the stand, the boots would just fall straight off, but all the while it's standing there, it's not a problem. The necklace here, I believe that's from Triad Toys, or Triad Toys do it. I can't remember what figure it came with, but it does come from that. The armament that she's got is the Hot Toys Alice armament. You've got the Magnum guns there. Please stay in focus. There we go. It's the Magnum guns. The harness that she's got on is obviously from Hot Toys Alice as well as the 2 shotguns in the back. The sword scabbard and the sword is from the Hot Toys baby doll figure. Again, if you've seen my videos on these in the past, you'll know all this, but this is for the people who haven't seen those. The clothing is from the Jade Van Helsing figure by Triad Toys, and there is wiring in the coattails. It's the same with both figures. This is the standard Jade Van Helsing figure that was released. The other one that you're going to see in a minute is, I think it was a show exclusive. I can't remember what show it was. Probably one of the San Diego shows or something like that, or Toy Fair. But that one's an exclusive. If you want to buy this clothing with these figures, there are still a few on eBay. They're not too badly priced. But yeah, that's the first one. Again, it's just a generic stand that she's on. The head sculpt, the face colouring doesn't match the skin colouring on the body, but I'm not too bothered about that. It's not too distinctive. And it'll look a lot better, I say, when I trim that neck piece out and push that head down a little bit further. But I like the way it's going at the moment, this figure. Obviously there's probably still a few little tweaks here and there that I want to do to it. But yeah, just a quick note, book it's standing on. If you want to see a video of that, feel free to ask. Actually, I might do some videos on this in the future when I've run out of figures to do. But really good book, highly recommend it. Tomb Raider Archives Volume 1. Volume 2 and 3 are out soon. But anyway, I digress, back onto the figures. So that's the first one. We'll now move on to the second version. Okay, here we have the second version. As I said, it's a toy show exclusive colour variant of the Jade Van Helsing figure. The head sculpts that come with these figures are quite nice actually, but they're a little bit too cartoony for what I want, but I will use them on later kit bashes that I'm going to be doing in the future. But what I've changed on this figure is, again, is the head sculpt. I said this is the Scarlett Johansson Black Widow figure by Hot Toys from Winter Soldier. Again, I need to sort of style that hair a little bit more. The cross and the skull on the straps there, and the little skeleton pendant there. They, again, I think they're from Triad Toys, from some sort of line that they did. I can't remember what it was, but you should be able to find similar things on eBay, as I said. I've taken one of the gun holsters off that I had originally on, mainly because it was facing the opposite way to this one. So you had the handle was facing out this way rather than that way, and it just looked too much. It's too much on the figure. What I might change this holster at some point, just to have something that doesn't stick out as much, it fits more onto the leg, but I might do that at a later stage. The weaponry, if I can turn around without falling over, the pistol, I believe this is one of the Terminator, Hot Toys Terminator figures this came from. I can't remember offhand, it's quite a while ago since I bought it. But yeah, I've got that. The leg holster, thigh holster, is from any generic sort of 1/6 scale army figure really. The scabbards on the back are Hot Toys Alice scabbards, same as the swords inside. The straps that are holding them on are for the Hot Toys baby doll figure. At a later date, I'm going to push these up a little bit higher and then glue the middle bit so it stays on, because at the moment they're just fairly loose, so they do tend to sort of fall out a little bit. But that's just something else I'm going to do later. Again, you have the same problem with the boots and the joints on the Fison body, so they're just sitting on there. There's a better look at the Hot Toys Alice katana. Very, very nice. While we're talking about Alice from Resident Evil, I have got on order, I think it's a figure, I can't remember who make it, but there's a new Alice figure coming out, and it looks superb. It's taken from the latest film, which is the final chapter, but I'll talk more about that when I get it through the post. I've ordered 2 of them. One I'm going to keep as it is, and another one I'm going to strip it down and use the pieces for other things. But I'll talk about that, as I said, when I get them through the post. But this is probably, out of the 2 of my Monster Hunters on this video, this is probably my favourite one of the 2. I might try and do various type of heads on it to see which one looks better, but I'm quite happy with the way this one looks at the moment. They're coming along quite nicely. But I do want to make one with a crossbow at some point. That'll probably be the next figure that I will be kit bashing. So yeah, that's say my 2 Monster Hunters at the moment. I say I do have others that I am working on, but it might be a while before I do a video on those. So I'll just put a little pause in here and show you them together again. Okay, here they are together. As you can see, the very unsightly hair, but I'll just comb that through and put a little bit of gel on it to change the look of that. Come on, focus, thank you. But yeah, 2 pretty good kick-ass figures. They look good in the Detolf, along with Hot Toys figures, but I'm planning on getting a wall-mounted glass cabinet that I'm going to put my kit bash figures in, just to keep them away from the Hot Toys figures. Probably put a little background in as well, just to make them stand out a bit more. So stay tuned for that. When I've done that, I will do a video on it. So what's coming up next? I don't know if I mentioned it at the start of the video, but I'm going through my Detolf shelf by shelf and just posting the videos of figures that I haven't done yet. The next one's going to be a little update on my Terminator figures. Following on from that will be an update on my kitbashed Alice figure from Resident Evil. Just looking at my Detolfs now. The next one after that will be Han Solo from The Force Awakens. And then next down from that will be an army girl that I've bought. So that will be the next, I think that's 4 videos that are coming up very, very soon. There will be a Chewbacca video as well. I do have those. And Riddick, my Elder Predator, which I've had for a long time now and just haven't done a video on it. Sexy Female Assassin will be coming up soon. And just a few other little ones here and there. So until then, as always, thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next video.